Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling Review Series. June 20th, 1992 is our episode here. Legion of Doom versus Tom Bennett and Barry Hardy. Legion of Doom, of course, the Road Warriors, the former tag team champions, with Paul Ellering. They have not debuted the Rocco dummy yet, I don't think. Anyway, power tosses by Hawk early. Hawk usually doesn't start, but does in this particular match. Hits a neck breaker for his trouble, and then also hits a big shoulder tackle. Hawk dominating his adversaries and hits a drop kick. Big power slam by Animal. Animal looks in dominant shape. The Beverly Brothers LOD feud continues. Animal just about takes his opponent's head off of the clothesline. Doesn't look to be very pleasant if you're on the receiving end of that for the enhancement talent. Doomsday Device 1, 2, 3, and it's over. Then they go to an update. They're recapping the Ric Flair Randy Savage thing. The interview with Savage from last week. Ric Flair basically says it is his destiny to return to be the world champion one more time, and he is prophetic as it does eventually happen. Papa Shango does not have another match, but is brought to the ring for another match. He manages to put a curse on his adversary, whose last name is Han. I don't remember the first. Before the match even begins, setting the young man's hand on fire. Obviously, use of flash paper there, but regardless, going really strongly with the voodoo, curse, spell-related stuff. Then we go to the event center. Crush is in. He's challenging everybody from Skinner to the Nasty Boys and everything else. He says that he promises to be a role model. He wants to be somebody worth looking up to and get rid of the trash in the World Wrestling Federation. Paraphrasing there, but that's the basic idea. Crush was a cool guy when I met him, and certainly fun to watch here. Nasty Boys continue their war of words towards in the general direction of High Energy, Coco Beware, and Owen Hart. They say their former tag team champions shouldn't have to deal with a team like this. Say they have the best winning record in the area, etc. and so forth. Not really true, but it doesn't have to be their heels, right? So, anyway, Sergeant Slaughter up next against Red Tyler. Slaughter, a former world champion. Odd to see him less than 3 years removed from being world champion in a completely throwaway enhancement match with Red Tyler. Kicks and punches by Slaughter, sends him into the buckle, and the Mountie continues to, promise he's going to get revenge on Slaughter. Don't know that I ever remember seeing Mountie versus Slaughter paid off anywhere. Perhaps the Coliseum video at the time. They'd done away with house shows like MSG and Boston Garden and the like being televised. Couldn't see it there. I'm not sure I would have wanted to see that particular feud. I'm sure I saw it at a house show here and there anyway. But Slaughter uses some cheap shots, believe it or not, even as a babyface, punches, kicks, and the like. Slaughter, certainly not the guy he was in 1983-84. Hooks in the Cobra Clutch. Promises to get even with the Mountie. And off we go. Repo Man against Brian Costello. Repo Man still trying to get his hands on the British Bulldog. If you've never seen the Repo Man, think the Lone Ranger met a thrift shop. Bulldog promises to get revenge on the Repo Man for almost putting him out of action permanently in a inset promo. Repo Man dominating Costello, working over the legs, using the ropes and whatever other illegal advantage he can get to put Costello in his place, so to speak. Repo Man then breaks the man down. Like the maniacal laugh from the Repo Man, not that it makes a huge difference. Repo Man does get a submission victory here and goes and uses the tow rope as a weapon post-match. Bret Hart and Rick the Model Martel. Hart continues to say it's hard to be the Hitman. Martel promises that people want the eagle feathers not because of Tatanka but because of him. And those are the two promos there. We move on to Crush versus the Brooklyn Brawler. A little bit more of a challenge for Crush. Brawler is only, 3 years away or removed from his push with the Red Rooster. Well, 89, 90, 91, 92. Yeah, 3 years removed from the WrestleMania 5 deal. So, I mean, there's still some credibility to being in there with the Brawler. Brawler, of course, has had many a match with various guys. I think he served 25, 26 years with the company. Crush uses power early. I still don't quite understand why it's never acknowledged he's a former member of Demolition. Maybe just because he's a babyface. Who knows? Anyway, big boot by Crush. Crush a lot more visually imposing here than a lot remember him a few years later. And then backbreaker by Crush. Uses one arm and brings him up, and Lombardi sells it like $1,000,000, which is always good when you've got a guy who's willing to put you over super strong. Anyway, Crush sends Lombardi with a press slam back into the ring from the outside, also impressive. And a backbreaker type maneuver by Crush. Crush uses the power again and tries to kind of just drop him down, almost like making fun of the torture rack of Lex Luger at that point, although I don't think that was the intention. Cranial crunch, and that's the end of that. Shawn Michaels is on the on the stage with Gene Okerlund, does a promo here, basically says he in fact wants to be the Intercontinental Champion. Sherry's holding the mirror for him, says he's basically the best looking thing in the WWF, most sexy individual. Sherry even does the mirror on the wall spoof from Snow White, and Michaels says soon he won't need the mirror. He can look at the Intercontinental title and see his own reflection. People should be bowing down to him. He's surprised that they don't need more security to deal with the fact he's in the building. And then we close out of that particular promo. Razor Ramon in a Cadillac basically says he's coming to carve people up, coming to set people down, coming to beat people up. He doesn't care what people think. He basically is, 90 minutes away. People are living in poverty and squalor. He's living the best life he possibly can. Really egotistical guy, driven by the ego. But for the character, Razor Ramon as a heel, probably one of my favorite characters. Scott Hall, actually, one of the main reasons that I used the name Scott for everything I've done. I was that impressed by the guy. Yes, I realize that he, in fact, has his demons, but I met Scott Hall as a child, pre-teenager, and he had a profound impact on my life, and when I chose to rename myself after going through severe abuse, Scott is the name I chose in response to that interaction. So just a little behind the scenes stuff. Anyway, Undertaker and Dwayne Gill, Paul Bearer, of course, with the Undertaker. Big surprise there. Not. Undertaker hits the shot under the throat, and a singular choke slam, one-handed choke slam, boom, down goes Gill, obviously. Undertaker walks the ropes, does the one-handed walk, and hits the jumping attack. Tombstone, 1, 2, 3, Dwayne Gill is easy pickings. Rock Warner and Butcher Stevens versus Money Incorporated, the tag team champions. Obviously, you know which way that's going to go from the beginning. Fans from the outside and outset not impressed with Money Incorporated. DiBiase dominates his opponents early, sends him to the buckle. A hard Irish whip. DiBiase still here in 92, even before his body gives out. Still looking crisp and hungry. They are still the tag team champions here. And pretty big deal. Anyway, IRS and DiBiase are working a pretty good match. Big power slam by DiBiase to get things going. IRS comes back in. Hopefully, at least if you're the enhancement talent, to finish it off. IRS hits the Running clothesline 1, 2, 3 tag team champions successful. Then we close with an event center promo. Tatanka talks about equalizing things with Rick Martel and being a good role model for all the Native Americans. Talks about the disappointment he has over Martel's actions. High Energy talks about wanting to get even with the Nasty Boys and how, they are high energy because they bounce all over the place. They're joking, jiving, and the Nasty Boys are just useless slobs, pretty much is the inference. And we're going to close with that. We'll be back with more right after this.